All right. Well, welcome to my first ever video. We'll see what this journey is all about. But today, we're going to be doing a early ventures single atlas mission. Things that work for me, things that might can work for you. It's my play style, kind of simplistic in a way, but can get sweaty. I'm going to be demonstrating how I use Archaeolo-Jess to pretty much farm the area, clear out the area, build support around the atlas, and then focus on pathing, then trapping. If we can control the pathing, we can use far less traps. And I enjoyed the building aspect of the game, so I'm just going to try to share that with you here today. The video might be a little scuffed at times, and if this is something we continue to do going forward, hopefully we'll be able to look back on this and say, wow, where did we start and how far have we come? But you got to start somewhere. So let's put one step in front of the other and begin this. I'll show you my loadout here. So again, I'm using Archaeolo-Jess, using the anti-material charge as much as possible. I like to use Blast in the Past. Removes my shield, doubles my health. Sorium Focus to regenerate energy. So the more energy I'm building back, the more I can use my AMC and continue to punch. Since I'm using Blast in the Past, when I do need to shoot, hopefully the added or the double health will give me a little bit more damage on my assault. Anything I hit with the AMC, hopefully I'm getting a little bit more material back. With Clip, of course, a lot more if she's your main instead of support. I like to use Survivalist just because if I am in a fight, easy heals. And if the stronger and healthier I am, the more I'm going to be doing damage with my health. So, and also with this, maybe smash your control in a way, since I'm a fan of Zenith and later higher levels. But for something like this, where my guns might not be the best at the moment, and I'm focused around my AMC build, the Seismic Smash can really help with shielders, smashers, things like that, or just crowd control. Of course, got the Addy Rush. If the shit hits the fan, quick kills. And also, it's never bad for me to have a turret. Sometimes it'll warn you. You just throw it up if you need to check out your menu or your weapons, stuff like that. If you gotta be AFK, kind of a little audio warning if something starts to approach. Is one of the ways I like to use my turrets, but to each their own. Also, the skin at the moment seems to change with the time of day. When the sun starts to set, it has a brown type tone that washes over both the jacket, the skin, the shoes. At night, it turns like a bluish kind of hue. And then when the sun comes up, it turns a lighter white color again. So it's odd. I don't know if that's a glitch or if it's meant to happen. But it's something that started happening recently. So alright, so I am level 30 in Ventures, or power level 30. Venture level 16, but we're going to be doing this level 23 single atlas. And just kind of demonstrate how I would play it. Of course, this is in a solo format. Publics can be a little aggravating at times, but if you happen to watch this, if you're new to Save the World, and there's plenty of content creators that have awesome videos. I've watched many myself when I started this journey. And to be honest, I will probably watch some after I create this video to learn. We can all learn something. Let's change these settings down. Hopefully it'll be a little bit smoother. And for me, can never go wrong with hitting these parking meters, cars. Parking meters usually always give you nuts and bolts. Like as many trees as possible for our lumber or our planks. It's never a bad idea if you need weapons to search the houses, attics, basements, similar to a BR format. You can typically find some pretty decent loot in those areas if you need it. Of course, anything like mechanical wise, you have the potential to get nuts and bolts along with mechanical parts for that level. So cars, gas pumps, anything in real life that might have a mechanical gear in it. Think of it like you could potentially get from breaking it down. Pickaxe. Ah, nope, I missed it. Oh well. Alright, so that seismic smash cooldown is not the greatest with this build. Oh, here, chest. Just another reason why I love Outlanders. The AMC is great for farming, but it's just when they hit the zone from pickaxe strikes, after like so many, I think it's like maybe 5, it can trigger ability that can see like chests, ammo boxes. Ammo boxes are green. Chests, depending on the rarity, could be blue, purple. If the chest has like pointed type structures coming out of the top that resemble like the edge of a castle, something similar to this little pattern here and looks super fancy. That's tier 6. You'd want to invite everybody in your party if you're in a group, to get within a few tiles of you when you open it. I don't recall the exact distance. I think it's 6, maybe 5. Hell, it could be 20. I don't know. But get generally close to them. And that chest will drop evolution mats. So again, if you're newer to the game and needing those type of things, or you're playing with newer people, a little courtesy in the chat saying, hey, tier 6 chest on me, storm chest on me. Those things are helpful to the group and not just the individual, so always be sure to share that information with your party. In a situation like this where I'm not really in a hurry to speedrun the mission, I like to just come in, evaluate what map we're in, kind of enemies we're dealing with, a few extra mats, maybe a max and I'm gonna scoop these back up later, maybe I won't, it kind of depends, but usually for the first few minutes of a mission, like to just kind of scout the land out. Might run across some good treasure. Give everybody an opportunity to kind of work on some quests if you're doing that, especially Ventures. Ventures is very heavily revolved around quests, especially for some of the superchargers and items you can get. Alright, so I've been pickaxing, AMCing a lot, and now we got a special chest up there. So just like a BR game, move through. And that was a decent middle tier chest. Not the lowest, not the highest, but a solid. Alright, also Outlanders can pick up fragments. The fragments that are blue give you extra abilities that are on the bottom right hand of your screen. The purple ones spawn one of these loot llamas. You pickaxe it for wood, brick, metal, some kind of building supplies, and usually some kind of crystal. And it all depends on the level that you're playing in. Higher level, higher rewards. Alright, how are we looking on the map? Roughly half discovered. And not always, but I feel like most time in a lower level mission, your defense type objectives are going to be closer to the edges of the map, and particularly the corners more than the sides. So here, I have a good belief that the Atlas will either be in the top right hand corner or the bottom left. And it's going to be top right. Not completely, but alright, let's go ahead and clear out the encampment. The mission would be pretty pointless to try to run without clearing this encampment, if not impossible, because every time you turn around, if you try to reset it, you know, you could not run the mission without clearing this encampment, pretty much. I think even if you weren't purposely trying to clear it. Oh, and speaking of which, tier 6 chest. Tier 6, 6 columns, crystals. This will drop us Evo mats. Maybe a chance for like a no, yes, Evo. Cool. And that little purple orb ball would show up on the map for anybody that would be in the vicinity able to get it. So I feel like if you were I feel like it's easily 10 tiles, because I feel like I've been in games where people have opened it from roughly this distance and still get it. So, but usually be on the safe side. Most everybody just kind of just would run somewhere, hang out in the driveway. You don't have to be like right beside it. And it's usually a polite thing that whoever finds it gets to open the chest unless they specify otherwise. In Ventures, there is a challenge in this early middle type level. And then I believe again later in the later end of Ventures that you have to open a certain amount of chests, so there is more likelihood in Ventures that people would say, hey, I found one, do you need it? You can open it in that situation. Just depends on your level and exactly what you may or may not need in the game. Alright, so we've placed our atlas. Nice work, thank you. Alright, so at this point, I went a little bit around the map, did a little searching, but we spent enough time to where let's start the mission. Let's start what we need to do. So me personally, I like to just start just making loops around the atlas structure. Since we've placed the atlas, we have an idea of where the storm's going to be coming from, or the enemies. And I like to clear out the whole area. If I'm in a big rush, I'm probably going to pull out a deatomizer and just wipe everything out. It's going to be a little expensive with energy ammo. But if you're looking for save a lot of time, that's probably your go-to. Now, some people like to leave as many structures up, forcing the husks to path around the buildings, because they're not going to beat on the outside wall, then beat on the inside wall, then beat on a couch, and beat on a chair, then beat on another wall, then oh, there's a bookcase, and they're not going through all that. So they will take a moment to walk around. But for me, I like having my, if I want to go above the atlas and throw my turret up, I want my turret to have full 360 range. And once, you know, I clear enough out to where I don't think any kind of rotation would be past what I've cleared. Like this encampment, I'm gonna clear it out, but you wouldn't have to. I think it's far enough away that you could probably run the whole mission without it triggering. If the storm was coming from this direction though, it would be pretty easy for you to just randomly catch a bullet on one of those 3 husks and you triggered anyway. But why not? A little free XP. Get that combat up. It might just be my OCD of just wanting to clear more and more stuff out as I go out, and I gotta remember, like, drifting too far away from the objective. Alright, so as you can see, I'm max mats, lots of mats on the ground, so there's really no reason for me not to at least build my core structure around the Atlas and have it tier 3 at the very least. At the very least. We got another basement. I believe this is probably going to be a mimic. The mimics have just a slightly different sound on them if you have your volume turned up. So let's go ahead and make sure everything's reloaded. Everything will cool down if we need it. Actually, there's 2 chests. Nice. Probably 1 real chest, 1 mimic chest. Alright. 1 mimic, 1 safe. Let's open the safe. The safe will never be a mimic. Good. Now, if this is, which I believe it will be a mimic, if it does turn, we don't risk the chance of breaking the safe before we can open it. And let's go. And there's our mimic. Fire. Smash. Fire. There we go. Lower level, my abilities are pretty strong. In later adventures, that mimic would be a little more difficult to kill. Since we know we have a basement here, let's go ahead and clear this out. But back to the to break a house or not break a house kind of topic. I like to find out if there's a basement. If there's a basement and we have cleared it out, we can always use a basement as a pit and a simple pathing structure and like a wall launcher. We can launch them into the pit, or a floor launcher. You can launch them into the pit. If they don't have a way to get out of the pit, they die or despawn, whichever one. Which, honestly, if you're trying to increase your combat score as much as possible, if you do end up launching them into the pit, you could put some either broadsides, wooden floor spikes, any kind of damage, some darts on the wall, any kind of like floor or wall damage, and you could, if they despawn, and that does not count against your combat, the traps being down there, hitting them before they potentially despawn, or if it counts as a death, would boost that combat. And with ventures, a lot of people will boost up the mission for whatever kind of XP. The XP is not like really that much, but when you try to grind ventures, if you're trying to get through ventures as quickly as possible without skipping too much, like, you just, every little bit of XP helps. So if you're in an eliminate and collect and you have time, go ahead and randomly build a bunch of structures. That's when you could like practice your 90, crank some 90s on them or something like that, you know? And now all of a sudden my nose gets stopped up, so. Got our fire trucks. We need to finish this mission. we will use, let's use brick. This is still a lower level, so I'm going to do a traditional pyramid type build. If it was a higher difficulty, I would probably go inverted, in which case your side's like this, invert it, put a floor launcher down, and it would just recycle the husk back, and you can add damage as need be. Well, something like this, I like just a traditional pyramid type base. Then I will do arches around with a ceiling, and you can always put a defender if you wanted to. At the moment we will not. Also, if you want a little added protection, I'll do this out of wood. Put your structure down, tier them up. And then fold them in half. Now, in doing so, if you don't have like a tar trap, if this is like all you're putting down and you're just gonna like from this point on just we got guns, we're gonna shoot them. If you get a charging smasher and you're not able to block it or stop it, and it breaks one of these outer structures, right? Instead of it charging on through and breaking some other structure, it's probably going to hit this folded floor, and it's going to slow it down a little bit. It won't stop it, but it kind of bumps it up into the air, and then it stops, and it will want to just hit on some other walls. Or if it's a pack of huskies or anything else, and maybe you're not paying attention, maybe you get distracted, maybe the difficulty's ramped up and some husks got by you. They break that. Now they have to break that to get through. For them to progress forward, they're going to have to beat on this. Now you could do the same thing with the inverted and not put a floor launcher down if it's a lower level and use no trap. That would then give them two different structures to beat on, and usually if these both are in place, when they go to attack, they're actually going to attack this slant first. Just gonna go ahead and scoop up some of this. Alright, so we have this pit here. So I'm gonna do kind of simple and with wood. We'll make a 2x2 box with walls, just because more building score, I think it looks cleaner. I'm gonna go ahead and tear this up. We're gonna fold and fold. So where that would have been a wall for them to break down, now they have to break down a wall, beat on the floor because it's folded, and then beat on a stair. So it goes from 1 to basically 2.5. A folded floor you can think of as a half blockage. So we'll go from 1 to now 2.5. Another fold for 3. Wall for 4. Slant for 5. Another wall. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 halves. So you have 6 for them to break down. So they're not gonna go through this, right? They're gonna have to take the time, which is mainly for these tentacles on the right. These tentacles, they're still going to path. They'll path right down the center structure. They should not even attempt to want to even break that. The ones on the right, they're probably going to just go ahead and walk over here. In which case, we're going to put darts. And when we're sitting back here defending, my main focus is just going to be scanning this left area for whatever just gets by. This will take care of itself with what we're going to do. Now, one thing we can do here. Now, I recommend being as creative as possible. Like, don't just get into a mission and feel like you got to do the same thing over and over and over. Certain parts, okay, yes, the Atlas, this is pretty much base setup. Every Atlas, every single Atlas, no matter what, maybe one mission is wood, maybe it's metal, but this structure, give or take, the inside ring is the first thing I would recommend building every time. Let's go and put an anti-air up here. But from that point on, man, let your mind be creative and just go to town. Don't cheap out and just spam 80 traps like from here on out. Like that's easy, that's doable. That'll win you the mission. But are you enjoying the game doing that? And typically, from what I have experienced, are the players that do that, those aren't their traps. That was somebody else that duped a lot of materials. Or they're an in-game type of player and they are overwhelmed with a lot of mats, so they give stuff away to clear their own space. Alright, so we're going to go... let's use just the stuff that we have from random pickups. And so what started that little tangent is we're going to build a single box fake base. Folded floor. This is what I consider or refer to, if you play with me, a standard fake base box. Now I can't speak. And this is where a raw, uncut YouTube video from the first time will show itself. Other times you could make this a speaker box, which you just put 4 sound walls around, maybe a dart box, maybe electric box, just, you know, a photo box. You put a wall light on there, you know. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could always make that a window, right? And put darts on that. You probably would work better if you didn't have the stairs. I don't know if the stairs will still trigger through the window at that point, but you could turn this into a defender box, put that floor down, put a defender pad. But I think what we're going to do here, we're going to add another layer up top here. We're going to just do 3 ceiling structures off to the side. Just clear that, get that with our bear. And what my thought is here is 3 tire drop traps, to where when these husks spawn, either A, gonna have to path to the right, which they'll get knocked into the pit. They can't walk over this way, they're gonna fall into the pit. They might would want to beat on this, but if it's only 1 tile, they'll just go ahead and walk around. So we're gonna maybe put let's put, what do we have? I was wanting to put a wall launcher, but we're going to do a sound wall. So as soon as they start approaching, they're going to start dancing. Actually, let's do another tire here. We're also going to block that. We'll put some windows on it just so we can see the action. This is where if you did have a base, it would probably be pretty cool to put it down. You could probably set it somewhere in the center here and cover everything. What do we got? No tire drops, so I guess I'm gonna be crafting a few. Well, I'm gonna craft what I need at this point until I'm able to get deeper into ventures and acquire like top level mats. At this point, I will just be conservative with like any planks, nuts and bolts, things like that. Or at a certain point where there's level 77 traps that I will like 77 floor spikes. I'm perfectly fine with those throughout. So we got our 4 tire traps. Make sure you face the direction you want them to walk from, in which it'll knock them back. Like I wouldn't want to face this way and put the tire, because, you know, but I could put one this way and knock them back. And let's put that zapper there. Gonna add some anti-airs. We'll add more if needed. Let's get our, I'm gonna use these 26s up if we're gonna really make this super easy. Got to be careful of the exploding death bomb though, because those don't have it. Good. Let's put more 26 on the back here, so anything that walks around get darted up. If they path this way, up to 3 tiles. To make sure that happens, you can just do a little simple little thing. You don't need to like spam these all around the map, all around your objective. That's not necessary. Of course, we're not really going for speed here, just going for thoroughness. You know, it's one of those things, after we build whatever we're going to build, do a quick lap back around the town. Scoop up all these mats still laying around. Now I've got the north covered for the first part. We're going to put structures down for the south, southeast direction, and then we're going to crank it up. We've got, it might be enough for that north already, but clearly not, because that cat got through. So at that point, we might come back and put some gas traps. What do we have? 228s. Might end up throwing those down. At a certain point of a mission, I mean, I do love building, but at a certain point, I don't want to have wasted so much time overbuilding, which is very easy to do. So I'm gonna get some simple stuff here. Let's go. So that's just gonna hit one apiece. So that's not gonna do crazy amounts of damage to everybody. All right, let's get a sound wall over there. Let's get one right there. And let's go. Can't impact. I was wanting to launch them up, but I don't think, not knowing how much oomph those have. I'll start with one anti-air there. I hear them. Where are they at? I don't think this is a part of the defense spawn. And there's only certain points that I really like to truly block off. If I think there's a natural path, I'll let them take it, even if it means there's 2 natural paths. And then try to funnel them elsewhere. Or later. As like the ones like this continue to creep through the defense. Because my objective, I do not want to build all this and then sit here this whole time shooting my gun. I do not want to sit here and shoot my gun the whole time. I want to act as a defender and sit my butt right here and just scan. Something comes that way, boom, I can take care of it. It's not gonna be that much. Something makes it through here, not that much, boom. Something's gonna come around the side, not that much, boom. Maybe more at the moment here, boom, 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 boom. Something, right? So I'm definitely one that says get your core structures, get some basic pathing down. Don't try to divert the husk too far off their natural path. We're bumping them one over here and potentially one on the left over here. Otherwise, if we hadn't, honestly, if we hadn't torn that house down and the spawn starts breaking some of these walls of the house, there would be potential for the husk to go ahead and come through the house. If one little pathway breaks, if this wall breaks and there's nothing besides, like, let's say a couch or two to there, you never know. You never know. So at this point, we will go ahead and start the mission and add to whatever we need. Now, doing so, I may not be able to scan the whole area and catch everything at the start. So a few things might get through and start beating on this early. The key is not to panic and start spamming everything. Let your traps cycle through a couple times. Let the timing get down. Remember, that first pack of husks that come through aren't all going to die from these traps. They're going to trigger once. So the first 3 may get hit. But husk 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, they're going to be right here. There's nothing going to be hitting them. And the reload times on these will not be reset yet. So don't panic. That might be the most you have to shoot your guns at the very beginning. But maybe you don't. Maybe it's a thin spawn. They don't spawn as quickly. Because remember, the sooner you kill the husk, the sooner that husk will respawn. And you're shooting again and again and again and again. Yeah, that combat score is not going to be that sexy, right? You might not have a 10,000 combat score. But if you're in a group party, your combat counts with my combat and person 3's combat. Like, combat score does not give you any more XP as an individual. It all adds to the group. So if you've put all these structures down, let your traps do their work, do their job. If you're going to fight in front of your traps or in the depth of your trap tunnel, then why'd you even build them to begin with? You could have just shot guns, right? So let's crank this baby up and let's see how it goes. Also with turrets, it's not bad. You could always throw up a turret very early, since it does have like a 3-minute cooldown, and it gives you an early warning kind of detection of how quickly, the more that thing's shooting, of course it's got good range. Gives you an idea of, do we need to add more? Do we need to focus in a particular area? So far, we've got some stragglers coming around this side. Is it something we just block off? Which it looks like we might just be a cheaper version to just block it off. Here's an early pack. Nothing to over worry about. But we do need to keep in mind and prepare for the next little bit. So those aren't the highest level of traps, so they probably don't have crazy amounts of durability. So we need to plan accordingly. Let's see if those are strong enough to launch them back around. Let's put one on the outside and then one on the inside. The windows, you could always throw a bear down and the bear shoot through the windows. It's another reason why I prefer Outlanders. To me, the Outlanders, they're not the strongest in any particular one class, but they're solid in all the classes. If you want to do a farming build, you can do an Outlander. If you want to do an SMG pistol build, you can use Outlander. Seismic Smash build, Phase Shift build, Teddy build. Just want to AMC everything. I don't know. I feel like it's always good to have one out. If you're running like a squad, team, or whatever, of course, ultimately you'd probably prefer one of each class. But definitely feel like you want a Outlander on your squad. They can just support the other roles very easily. If a constructor needs help, you can help break stuff down or open loot llamas for them. If you need more damage, you could throw your Teddy out and keep your Teddy in the spawn. I'm a fan of Zenith, so his ability to freeze, especially smashers, can come in really handy in missions. But I think, in my opinion, the strongest 4 players, if you have 4 people that you're getting a group together and playing, a squad of Zenith as your Outlander, Farah as your Ninja, say like Ice King for your Constructor, and then maybe like Diecast Jonesy as your Soldier. Just you can handle any mission in the game with ease. Got your minigun for a mini boss killer if you need it. Zenith with your Smasher Control. Farah with your large group damage. And then your Ice King to just make your base pretty much impenetrable. And that's that. You could do a little quicker if you weren't, trying to explain what you're doing, I guess. If I would have trapped the area that I did second, if I would have completed that first, I could probably build maybe less, use some tire traps above that ramp. Would have worked really, really well. The other side with the pit, could have probably done a little bit less. I really didn't need the tire drops on that right side from the north. But still, only we used level 26 darts. And for the traps we used in the zone, it was very appropriate. Could have even dropped down those tire traps to level 26 or whatever it was. And that's probably how you DMC your first YouTube video. Let's check out our loot. Good old BRXP, some Venture XP. We got our fire truck, so we get some V-Bucks. Nice Evo mats from opening those tier 6 chests. Of course, the higher the level, the more likely the Evo mats would be a larger quantity. But yeah, with that was a early Ventures single Atlas. How I would typically play it solo. Again, if you're in a party, you probably could do a lot less than that if you're wanting to use your weapons and abilities. But if y'all are just looking to build something and then hang out in a group at the Atlas and emote on each other and dance and talk in the party and just kind of just passively play the mission, and you clear the area, put up some pathing structures, some little fake bases, fake base for life, and then crank it up and add to as you go, and let the pathing naturally happen for the husk, and your missions will run a lot smoother, a lot easier, and a lot more dubs. But with that, first video is done. Thanks for watching, and check me out on Twitch if you see this. The Band 4, a few times a week. Set schedule coming soon. Or check me out on Twitter. And the Band 4 with the 4 spelled out. But look for the sunglasses and the mustache on the icon. And it's probably me. But until next time, y'all be safe. Love you. Appreciate you. Peace.